Okay, there we go. Stream should be starting. Let's try the audio. And audio looks fine. Perfect. So I'm just going to wait a few minutes to see if people join. And also I want to put the link up. Okay, let's not switch and let's post this literally everywhere. Is there a spam section on here? Is there a spam section? I guess not. Okay. I am coding the SAO cutscene maker live right now on YouTube if anyone wants to watch. Okay, they'll probably yell at me, but whatever. Here they won't yell at me. Here, kind of pointless. Here they will. Here, what is this? Nah, they don't care. Here, they will kill me if I put it there, so I will put it. Let's see. YouTube, Twitch. Okay, here. Pretty sure it'll kill me if I do it there. Okay, here I could put it under media. Here, they're not gonna watch it anyways. I can put it here if I put it under. I can put it under videos. They don't care here. They probably already know, and the press will already be tagged. Here, coding the cutscene maker as usual. Live. Add everyone. Okay. One man usually doesn't care. And they don't care. Okay, basically posted it everywhere. And I'm at a whopping 1 viewer. Okay, might as well import the project while I wait for viewers to join in. Okay, let's fix this. And perfect, I have 2 viewers. Okay, so that should be good. Should have imported without issue, and let's see if anyone is doing anything. No, I'll delete it. Okay, there we go. And I still only have 2 viewers. If anyone's actually watching, comment. I'm curious who's watching. Okay, whatever. If I see the watcher count go up, I'll start talking a bit more. And yeah, if someone comments, I'll obviously respond. But I'm gonna do my thing while it happens. Whatever. It's early in the stream, so probably more people will join up later on. Okay, so let's test out the program first. Right now I am testing the spawner system, so all the text related nonsense is already done. I basically just have to get the spawner up and the pseudo video editor junk. Okay, I had it working earlier, but for some reason the entire file got corrupted or something, and I had to start over, sort of. It wasn't fully working, I just got it working to an extent. But luckily I wasn't too far in, so I didn't really lose too much, but what I did lose was kind of annoying. So let's do this. Okay, so first I need to do a bunch of checks. So if the timer toggle is on, then timer plus plus is basically the timer that checks, okay, how long has the thing been running for. Now it checks if you press enter. If you press enter, it turns on that toggle. Now aside from that, I need to do a couple other debug commands. So if keyboard check pressed VK underscore. Now what do I want to check for? There was a few things I had to check for at the time. What were they? So there was for enter, there was for restarting the room, and there was the switch mode. Okay, so let's do restarting next. Let's do VK underscore end. Okay, let's do room underscore restart. And let's change that to an else if. Else if. And I have to create the switch variable. Oh, I already have the switch variable. Okay. Else if. Oh shoot, screwed that up. Keyboard check pressed VK underscore up, and then else if keyboard check pressed VK underscore down. Okay, so that is good. Now basically this is checking, okay, if I press the keyboard, these are just debug things that I'm working on. The idea is, okay, you know something, once all this is running, then I'll be able to understand how to actually test for certain outcomes that I want to happen. So right now, it's basically just saying, okay, if I press end, then it restarts the level. If I press enter, then it just turns on a generic timer that doesn't actually do anything yet. Alan Bailey, what is up? Oh my god, I haven't seen you in years. How are you doing? Yeah, thanks for dropping by. It's so weird. He's one of my friends in real life. So weird though. I know that everyone still watches my videos. One second, I got Discord thing. Art and drawing. Oh, does this look enough like Kirito? Yeah, okay. Yes. 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 Just make sure to draw his face and also some beer bottles up in the air. Okay, this is for that right there is for like a project I'm working on for a video. But yeah, it's so weird. I know that the guys from my grade still watch my videos. Right now I'm just coding something for future videos, but whatever. Else if keyboard check pressed VK underscore up, then it's switch. Wait, no. Switch test. Is that what the variable is called? Yeah, switch test. So switch test plus plus. And then switch test minus minus, and then the idea right there is that I could make it go up or down. Now from there I want to actually be able to see what I'm drawing on screen. Hey, I'm getting a nice amount of viewers now, so welcome everyone that's joining. Basically whatever. I'm not gonna. If I get to like 6-7 viewers, then I'll go through all my code and explain what everything does. Okay. Now right now, let's do this. So, draw set color VK underscore red, just so that way it doesn't blend in. Wait, no, it's not VK. It's C underscore red. Yeah. I don't want it blending in with the black from the background, so yeah. Anyways, draw text. So the X position is 30, Y is 30, and string is the following. So first, what do I need? So I need the switch, I need the timer, I need a couple things. Okay, so let's start with the switch. Switch, and then plus string switch test. Yeah, that should do it. Okay. Okay, now let's do it at position 60, and instead of the switch, now I'm going to do the timer. Timer plus string. What is the variable? Yeah, it's literally just timer. Okay, that makes things easier. Okay, at 90, I'm going to leave that blank for now, just so that way I could do a bunch of tests. Okay. Switch test and timer. So all this is doing is giving me the switch and the timer, which is exactly what I want. But it's not working for some. Oh, because I forgot to put the object in. Okay. That takes 2 seconds to fix. Now it should work. Yep. Switch timer. Okay, so if I press up, it goes up. If I press down, it goes down. The timer, if I press enter, should keep on just going up. There we go. Keep on going up, and it will go up basically infinitely. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. Now, from there, what do I need to do? So switch test equals 1. After the switch test, what did I need to do? So I need to do the character placement. I also need to do the various inputs. Okay, first let's set up. Okay, 1 second. Region debug controls and region. Okay, now with the debug controls out of the way, let's work on the switch. Okay, if switch test equals 1, switch test is 1, and keyboard check pressed VK underscore right code. Then I'm going to replicate that for wherever it needs it. Else if blah blah blah. Okay. Why is there bug? Else. Oh, okay, that's why. Okay, there. So that's a basic switch statement that checks what I wanted to check. Now I need to do the text input. Region input and region. If keyboard check vk underscore any key. I need the input. I already set that up. Okay. Input equals input plus I think it's string keyboard check. Keyboard string, that should be in. Then I have to reset the keyboard string. Okay, so what does all that do for the 3 people that are watching this? Basically, this is checking if I press a key. Then once I press a key, then it sets it to a variable called input. There's a variable called input, and it sets input equal to itself plus whatever was just pressed. So let's say I press the letter A, then it starts off with nothing there. So it's nothing plus itself and A. Since there's nothing, it's 0 or just nothing plus A, meaning it would be A. Now next, if I press the letter B, then input would be A. So then it would be A plus B, and it would be AB, and so on. It's not like math, where it's like 1 plus 2 equals 3. It's more like 1 plus 2 is 1 and 2 in that sense, really, because it's a string. It's not an integer. After that, I have to reset the keyboard string twice because I don't know why. All I know is that it will cause massive glitches if I don't do it twice for whatever stinking reason. I really don't understand it. But I know from practice that this is how it works. Okay, then after that I have to do a backspace. I think I use a string copy or something. Okay, so if keyboard check pressed vk underscore backspace input equals string copy. Okay, so it's the string, so input comma index is string length, I think. Where's the thing for this? Okay, let me dig up what the thing is from an old project. I should have the information in this project. Probably would be under 4.0 under input screen object text box main, and somewhere in this mess of the code. Here, this code right here. Only at 1 viewer now, that stinks. Whatever, it is what it is. Okay, input equals, string delete, that's what it is. String delete, input, string length, input, and 1. So that, all that is set up. Now with that, all I need to do is draw text 30, 700, input. You saw me last in class. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, you're right. I'm not able to like show up to the classes this month because of college. It's so annoying. I want to go to the classes. The rabbi's great, but right now I'm like ending classes at like 8-9 o'clock at night usually. Tonight I got out early, but usually I'm either too exhausted or I literally just missed the class entirely, which stinks. Okay, input plus what is it? I don't think I need to convert it to a string. I think that should just work right as is. Perfect, it works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, that works, no problem. Now if I press enter, the timer should go, and if I press end, the room should restart. Perfect. Everything is working exactly as I wanted it to. Let me just check here. Is there anything important? Doesn't look like any comments. Okay. Now with the input done, now I have to set it that the input actually does something. So if the switch test is equal to 1, then I need to set up the spawn system actually. Input switch test spawner equals -4. Wait, no, it's set to the actual default value instead of -4, so it's set to 60 default. Okay, so if, what is it? So if timer equals spawn instance create wait, no, let me just rip it from my other area of the code. I should be here, maybe. Instance create depth, yep, right over there. And the default should be 960, I believe. Okay, 960, 1080, 10, object Yuki, and there. Now what that does is, as soon as it hits 60 on the timer, it should spawn that character model. Bingo. Okay, now I need to set a limit for the actual timer. Timer limit equals, let's set it at 300. How long is 300? That should be 10 seconds or so, maybe? I'm not sure. Yeah, probably 10 seconds or so. And timer limit. Wait, no. And timer is less than timer limit. Now what that means is it should only go up to 300. Bingo. There we go. Okay, so now it only goes up to 300. So now I have to set it so that way I can change that depending on user input. So the first thing I want to do is adjust the character. No, let's first adjust the spawn. is spawn time 2 is okay, so 1 is spawn time, 2 is total time limit, 3 would be location. I'll figure out what else will be later. Spawn timer, spawn time. If switch test equals 1 and keyboard check blah blah blah. Spawner equals real input. I think that should be it. And then reset input. And then in this case with 2, timer limit equals real input equals, and then this last one, I'll leave that alone for now. I just want to test this. What happened? Why is it that that just spawned the character on screen pressing right? So clearly that's happening, so timer. But why? That's so weird. What in the world is happening here? Why is it that pressing the right key? Wait, oh, I think I get it. I think I get it. Yeah, I think I get it. Okay, spawn time. Okay, this is spawn time. Time limit. Okay, now I can understand what's going on. Okay, I see what's happening. So why is it setting it to 0? Okay, if timer equals spawner and timer toggle equals 1, that should fix it. That might cause a glitch, but I think that should fix it. Okay, that fixed it. Now, here's what that does. So, at 1, if I set it to 12, I set it to 12 at 1, then I set this to 13. Wait, no. Then I press enter. Bingo, that works. Now let's do it again. Let's do it at 12. And then let's do it as 11. Oops, shoot. Bingo, works. Works without issue. Okay, so that looks like it's working. So debug controls, input. Now I can set the spawn location. This is going a bit too well. That's the weird part. There's no way it's going to continue going this well. Okay, so the spawn location is incredibly simple. Okay. X location equals 960. So that's the default. Okay. Here's the tricky part. This is where I ran into issues last time. Instance create tab X location. Okay, so how am I gonna do? What could it be as simple as just subtracting 960? Could it be that simple? Input minus 960. So let's say they put 0. No, so maybe it will be input plus 960. So let's say. Yeah, I think it will be that simple. Okay. X look equals real input plus 960. I think it might literally just be that simple. Okay, Actually, I need to draw that. X location. Okay, so let's say I do as 0. Oops, shoot. Let's say I do it as 0. Let's say I do it as... Wait, I forgot to reset. Input equals... Let's say I do minus 960. Let's say I do 1920. Let's say I do... One second, I might have to deal with something. Send what? Okay. Whatever, that doesn't matter. If I do 960. Oops, shoot. 960. Perfect, that actually worked. I'm surprised. Yep, that works. Wow, perfect. Now let's restart that and let's try this. Okay. So spawn time. Let's do it as 10. And let's try it. Perfect. Now let's switch it to 10 and let's set the location to minus 384. Oops, shoot. Okay, let's set. Okay, one more time. 10. Shoot. Why do I keep screwing that up? Okay. 10. Then minus 384. Why do I keep screwing everything up? Okay. 10. Then minus 384. Let's try that now. That looks about right. Yep, that is correct. Let's do this. 10 minus 768. Working perfectly. There we go. Awesome. So, got that up and running, which is nice. Now, that's only the first part of it. That means I can now... Okay, so now I can spawn in a single character at any location along the x-axis on screen. However, that means I'm limited to one character. So, in order to fix that, I'm going to have to work with the DS list. The question is, should I do multiple DS lists or just one? How should I do this? This is gonna be tricky. Okay, DS list add for what? How am I gonna do this? X location. So I need the third confirm. That's what I need. Yeah, I'm gonna need a third confirm. I'll just create a confirm button in this case. Let's duplicate this. This is gonna mess things up is the problem. Let me see. Okay, DS list. DS list is a data structure that stores information sequentially, much like a 1D array. DS lists are very flexible data structure that allow to add somewhere in the middle of the list, as well as giving you the ability to shuffle the order or to randomize value or store them in ascending or descending order. When a DS list data structure, you should always use integer values for the list position, and all non-integer dices will be floored by GameMaker Studio. If you do not, if that is not what you require, then you need to round them yourself precisely. DS list create. Okay, add. The above code will add the value stored in score variable and listed as index. What's a DS map? There's a string which can then be stored. The above code opens an INI file and then writes a string containing information stored in the DS list index. I see. Okay. This is going to be tricky. So first, what data do I need? I need 1, the character, 2, spawn time, 3, spawn location, 4. What else do I need? For now, I think that's it. Do I need anything else? Timer toggle. No, I think that's it for now at least. Okay. With those in mind, I should be able to do it. I think I'm going to do it with multiple DS lists. I can do it with just one, but I feel like doing it like that would screw things up. Okay. If keyboard check pressed VK underscore page down. Also, let me do testing. Keyboard underscore. If I press all 3 of those, DS list create. Where are the variables for DS list create? Nothing. Okay. Am I sure about that? Yes. This is not like an INI, I guess. Character equals let's try this. DS list add character, comma, object underscore Yuki. DS character. No, let's not start off with a character because that's a bit tricky to check. Okay. Equals DS list create. I have no idea if this will work. I think it worked. Okay, page down and let's try. It worked. Yes. I did it. That actually worked. Okay, this might actually work in that case. This might actually work. Yeah, this looks like it might actually work. Okay. I'm gonna leave the character alone for now. DS underscore ds underscore spawner equals ds list create ds list add equals, hey, looks like I got a second viewer, welcome. ds list add ds underscore spawner comma spawner. Now instead of temp, okay, so what am I gonna name them? Okay, I think I know what to do. I think I need to combine those. Timer toggle equals 1. And timer is less than timer limit. Timer plus plus. Yeah, makes sense with this. Timer plus plus. And how should I name that? Read underscore spawner equals what was it? The ID in this case is ds spawner and the position is 0. Gonna have to find a way to loop that actually. Yeah, that's gonna be tricky, but that's gonna be interesting how I'm gonna end up doing that. Yeah, that's gonna be very tricky actually, but it is possible because I can reorder the DS list. I'm gonna have to create a way for it to reorder itself, actually. For now, I want to test under absolute ideal conditions, just so that way I can get it working in some form. If timer equals read underscore spawner. What? I'm busy. I'm busy. I'm coding something. Read underscore. Read underscore x lock equals ds list find value ds underscore x lock comma 0. There is a potential issue, though. There is a potential issue with this method. I'm gonna have to order it ahead of time. Yeah, I'm going to have to order it ahead of time, meaning that that's going to have to be based off the spawner. For now, though, it should be fine. Let's get it to work for now at the very least. Okay, if I do this, so I set the spawn time to 10. I set the location to 500. Now I press page down. That should save it. Now it should work. It worked. Instance create depth read x location 1080 10 object yuki. I'm not going to deal with multiple characters just yet. Okay, now I'm going to try. Hey, what's up, Maddie? Okay, the code is getting very, very complicated, so sorry if at least complicated by my standards, so sorry if I'm not really paying too much attention to the chat right now. Just trying to figure things out. I'm gonna have to add a confirmation window. Okay, so first off, let's do this. Let's do 30. And then let's do the location as 500. You're doing okay as usual. That's great. Okay. Now let's press page down. That should save it once. Now, let's do the next one as minus 500 and 60. Let's test that. Okay, yeah, I know why that didn't work. Okay. This is getting real complicated. Read spawner equals ds list find value. Okay, how am I gonna deal with this? Let's have a variable step, maybe. No, maybe I'll just have it as like I or something. No, I'll just do a step. Step equals 0. Instance create step and step plus plus. That should do it. Okay, so let's start off spawn time. Let's do it as 30. And then location as no, let's do minus 500. Page down. Second one is 60. And the location is 500. Page down, let's test it. It didn't work. Okay. Okay, so I understand how that works. Shoot, keep on forgetting. Okay. Why did it only do the second one? Oh, that's probably why. Okay. Please fix this. Please fix it. Did I just forget to press it? Okay, let's try it. What is it? Okay. 30. Minus 300. Page down. Then 60. 300. Page down. It works. Yes. Bingo. That worked. That's good. That is very good. It barely works, but I got it somewhat working. That is very good news. Okay. That was not easy. That was not easy. Yes, it is cool. Okay, that was mentally exhausting. I somehow did that. So now I should probably add a confirmation window. Okay, if switch test is equal to -4. confirm. Okay. Okay, if runs the confirmation window, if it's that, okay, input Y, and after that, switch test equals 1, else if input equals N, and keyboard check pressed VK underscore right. Test equals 1. Let's see if that works. Let's see if this works. Okay. Why am I not able to type while this is happening? No, else, I see, else if, I see why that's happening, else if keyboard check pressed VK underscore right. That should fix it. Am I sure? Yes. Oh, shoot. Am I sure? Yes. Here we go. How am I at 4 viewers now? That's pretty nice. Okay, so let's test this. Okay, so if I do this, if I press page down, are you sure wired N? If I press N, good, it works. So that's a confirmation preview. Okay. Okay, so all that seems good. Now, how am I going to deal with this? This is getting really complicated really fast. Right now, it is in the absolute most alpha stage possible. All this is really just testing. This piece of code is very complicated, at least for me. So yeah, I was able to do that. The TLDR is that I needed to find a way to have the program understand that the user will be placing multiple characters at various time intervals and none of them are linked. It's not easy. Anything else I should deal with? Nope, and nope, and nope. Okay, here. I kind of want to quit, but I have 4 viewers right now. Okay. Oh my god, I'm exhausted. This kind of code really drains me because I'm very new to all this. Like, it mentally just wrecks me. I'm just wrecked right now. So the primary issue let me try something actually. So let's do a time interval. Relatable. You have no idea. Okay, so I believe there's going to be an issue the second that... Let me explain my code, because why not? I have 4 viewers. Anyways, here's how this works. So first off, there's some debug controls. The basic idea of all this is that because the difficulties of getting this to work at all, I'm like, let me get it to work, period, and then I'll clean it up and make it look nice. So because of that, this is very sloppy in its execution. The fact that I'm using page down as a way to execute some code is proof of that. So the basic idea is that I can do everything through the command, through the actual GameMaker debug. If I press the debug button right over here, it'll give me all the information I need whenever I want to debug the program. The issue is, why would I want to go through a whole bunch of menus in order to do that when all I have to do is have a simple command to draw the variables I need on screen? I don't understand why more people don't do that. Maybe there's a reason. My logic is, you know something, if I can draw it on screen and literally have it in front of me while I am testing it, rather than having to flip back and forth through it, then it just doesn't make sense for me to do otherwise. So as you can see, I have all my important variables on screen. So I have switch, timer, spawn time, time limit, and X location along with input. The basic idea here, and also this right over here, is a backdrop that gives you an idea of where the character will spawn. This is the halfway point, 1/4 point, if you want to put it at 1/4, 1/3, 1/3, and then this is the third per se, whatever, and then 0 pixels at the edge and 1920 pixels at the other edge. The 0 and 1920 is to give a sense for how large the actual scene is, while the 0 mark is the actual center. Now if I put in -384, it will appear over here, while if I put in 384, it will appear over here. Now first I needed to figure out the math to actually convert it, because normally if I do 0, it will show up over here. However, if I do 960 normally, it will show up over here. Originally, when I was first writing up this code, I was a moron and I didn't really think about how to do it properly. I overthought it like crazy. I was like, you know what, I'll have like an if statement that if it's this, and then if it's this, and then if it's this. I'm like, no, that was really dumb of me, and that's why my code got so complicated so fast. In reality, all it is that it's offset by 960, meaning all I have to do is add 960 to the thing. Meaning basically, if I type in 0, then all it does is add 960. So if the user types in 0, what is this? This is spawn time. Okay, so for spawn location, if I type in 0 right over there, then what will happen is that all it's doing, if I type in 0, all it did is that it added 960 plus 0. Because it added 960 to 0, that puts it in the center of the screen. Now, all this is without the user knowing any of this. And the reason I have it set it up this way rather than setting up as 1920 by 1080, which would just be as simple as that, and that's because of this is how video editors handle it. If I open up Sony Vegas and let's say I type in 960, it will bring me to like over here, versus if I type in negative 960, it will bring me to over here. Because some people that are using this might either bring it into a video editor or be familiar with video editors, and because I myself use video editors all the time for YouTube, I figured I might as well have it line up with simple video editor conventions. So because of that, all I had to do is offset it by 960. So I was a moron and I overthought it, and that complicated my code real fast. Now the next issue here is the actual getting the character to spawn at a certain time interval. So in order to get this character to spawn at a certain time interval, I first need to figure out how to actually have the game understand what time it is relative to when the actual text scroll starts. In order to do that, I have a variable called timer right over here. Now all this does is that once it's activated, it keeps on adding 1 every frame of the game. This is running at 30 frames a second. In reality, it's rendering at 60, but the step event is running at 30. That means that every single second, it will be adding 30 of it. So because of it, 1 frame, so 1/30 of a second later, will add 1, and so on and so forth. Because of that, in theory, all I have to do is divide by 60 or 30 or whatever, and then divide again, and I can set variables for minutes and seconds and hours and whatever it is. I already have that set for some global stuff for another part of the project, but I need a more local one for this part of the project because this is where it really comes to matter. Will this have game integration possible? It depends on what you mean by game integration. It will have video editor integration because I am planning on including a green screen function, so that way you could just import this into a video editor. However, if you're wondering if, let's say, that you could mod this in some way to have it work with the actual SAO games, the answer is no, and that's simply because of 2 reasons. 1, game maker limitations, and 2, I am a noob. If you are curious, by the way, I am planning on having it that you can import your own character models. So, if you, let's say, want to make your own Danganronpa cutscene maker, or Doki Doki Literature Club, or literally anything like that, or let's say you have your own custom character models, at some point in the future, I want to add in a function that will allow you to add in your own characters. I have no idea when that will be. Keep in mind, again, I'm a noob. I'm struggling with this part right over here, but I know it's possible. I already looked into it, and I do have plans to eventually include that. In fact, the entire reason I'm spending so much time on this is because I want to future-proof it, so that way, let's say I want to make another version of this, let's say for Danganronpa or Doki Doki Literature Club, all I really have to do is swap out the sprites, which would take a few minutes. So as soon as the core of this is done, this program is done, and I can make an infinite amount of variations of this. I could also improve on the functionality over time and add other cool features like lip sync, like character transitions, alternate text boxes, fonts, potentially maybe some kind of game physics. There's lots of potential with this. I just need to get the basics down. I have some kind of Discord message. Wow, that is perfect. Wow. Perfect. That is perfect. That really is perfect. Okay, that's going to be for, I feel like my code is going to explode again when we get animations. You're spelling a whole bunch of things wrong, so it's hard to read. I'm assuming you mean my code is going to explode when we get animate. Okay, I'm a bit confused by the way you worded it, but I think I get the general gist. Right now, let me give you perspective on how buggy my code is. This is just to give you an idea. So this is the text scroll function, part of the cutscene maker program. So this is already complete, and not complete, but this is basically complete. It says complete as I'm going to get it. Now let's say I do this. So how it works is you type in whatever you want the character to say. So like, hi, how are you today? Press enter. It appears up there so that way you can preview it. I'm still working on the tutorial, a couple other stuff. The correct text function is working fine. Whatever, you get the idea. Now, so how does this work from here? Let's say that you type out 101 lines and you're tired, you want to go take a break, right? You don't want to just, I don't know, like, as soon as you're like, you know, I want to go take a break, you close out the program and, oh shoot, I forgot to save. Because I forgot to save, now I have to type out all 100 lines of those again. One second, I got another thing. What am I making? Why does everyone ask? I say it all the time. Sword Art Online Cutscene Maker. I'm making a fan adaptation cause A1 screwed everything up. Yeah, I'm making a fan adaptation. Bet you guys I've never seen that before. But back on topic. Oh shoot, I forgot to save. Now I have to type out all 101 lines again. So, hi, how are you today? I can type out all 101 lines, or even better, I can click the save button. You click the save button, and what do you want to name the project? Let's do it. Delete 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Press enter, and it's saved. Correct? I could type in more. Shoot, is it bugged? What happened? What is going on? Shoot. Ah, that's what's going on. Okay, I have to figure out how to fix that then. As you can see, there's still a few bugs, but whatever. But, whatever, that is saved now. But, the question is, let's say I want to load it back. I click the load button. Which file do you want to load? Test 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. So that way you don't have to do all that. Then you press enter. The issue is... Shoot, okay. Okay, basically this whole thing is bugged and I'm still figuring it a lot of it out. Okay, nothing important. Okay, so basic idea, you can save and load, and the problem is that for some reason, aside from the bugs, if it wasn't bugging out right now, you'd be able to see that when you do save and load, for some reason the program, it doesn't crash but freezes up for a few seconds, and I know exactly why it happens, and I'm actually taking advantage of the reason why it happens in order to create the save system. It's that because it freezes up the program, that method is not viable for this. So because of that, I needed to find a different way to do this, and I kind of figured it out, but it's tricky. Anyways, my code is a mess though, but that's because I'm just new to a lot of this. Anyways, now there's the debug controls. Now, once you do all that, now you have to figure out, okay, you know something, so I understand how the time system works now. So every single second it adds 1. So that means after 60 frames, 60 frames is 2 seconds. So, by default, let me start out by having it that after 60 frames, it will spawn in a character. So it's literally a matter of, okay, if timer equals, and let's just say spawner in this case, then instance create depth and certain variables, whatever it is. The timer is just how many seconds have passed since the start of the thing, and the spawner is how many times until you spawn that first character. Then after that, what it does is it creates an instance of whatever object that I say it to. Then it's looking for the X location, the Y location, the depth, and the object. The X location right now is set to a variable, but during the initial testing, it was set to 960, which is the exact center of the screen. 1080 is the bottom of the screen. It lines up the bottom of the model with the bottom of the screen. 10 is the object depth. That basically just tells it where in terms of like placement. And then the object is object Yuki, which is one of the character models. Then after that, at least in terms of this, I have like a step thing. I'll explain that after. The basic idea here is, okay, all that does is that every single frame, it will add 1. Once it gets to 60 frames, then it will add the character on screen. Perfect, that's exactly what I want. After I get the character on screen, now I want to figure out, okay, now am I able to create a variable that will allow me to change when the character will jump on screen? Because by default, right off the bat, if you look over here, I have it set at 60. But let's say I don't want it at 60. Let's say I want it at 61 or 30 or 10 or whatever you want in the world. Then you have to take in some kind of user input. I learned from the Neptunia Cutscene Maker project that rather than having a whole bunch of input mumbo jumbo for each and every time you need an input, it makes more sense to only get the input once and then to apply that input to wherever you need it. In this case, what I have here is that there is a switch test. So the idea here is very, very simple. What it does is it first checks, okay, you know something, there's a master switch basically, and this switch helps the program understand what I need it to do. So if the switch is set to 1, then it understands that what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to change the value of when the character will appear on screen. If it's set to 2, then it's the time limit of the scene, and so on. So the whole idea and the whole point of this is that what it by default set at 1, which is when the character will be on screen. So while it's set at 1, which what it's set to is defined by the debug controls right over here. Again, really sloppy. By default, at least once the program is done, the program will handle it automatically. But right over here, it handles it. I'm able to switch it up and whatever. And what I do is I set the value manually equal to whatever the input is as soon as you press a certain key. So I type in whatever I want that value to be, then I press whatever key I need to press, and then it sets it equal to that. Because it sets it equal to that, that means that all I have to do is set that value, so timer equals spawner, and there you go. So I do that for all 3, and then the issue is, okay, you know something, what if I want to spawn multiple characters, not just one? This is where I'm currently at, and this is where it gets a bit more tricky. So I figured out the first part of it. Now, the issue is that there's 2 ways of going about this. One way, which I have no idea how to execute, but might be possible, I have no idea. The other way, I kind of know how to do, I might be able to figure out, and it would still be tricky regardless. The first way is to figure out how to get this code to be modular. What does that mean? It means that I can take portions of code and swap them in and out. What that means is that this section of code is not necessarily delegated to this section of code, that I can execute this whenever I feel the need I need to execute it. What that would do is I can set up certain character profiles that for each character that they would have certain values, and then it would assign whatever values needed for where and when they need to spawn on the fly. So basically, if I need to spawn a Yuki, I just tell it, okay, I need to spawn X amount of Yukis, and this is going to be the locations that they spawn at. The problem there is I have absolutely no idea how to do that. So then we get to the second potential idea, which is the one I'm going with. Someone wrote in our comment, you should probably do some logging for those procedures just in case. What do you mean by, what do you mean logging? I'm just like really confused by your comment. Either way, the second idea I came up with is a much better idea, and it's basically just a souped up version of my save system. The idea is I use a DS list, and then later on, once I get the chance, I'm going to include an INI in order to save everything into an INI to deal with all that nonsense. Now, how does this work, and what are the problems with this? This works basically by having it that every time that there's a third confirmation, so you press the first confirmation to tell it, okay, if I want to set, let me open up the actual thing. You good? Okay. So, let's say right over here, by default it's set to 1, that means spawn time. So let's say I type in 30. So I need to actually tell the program, okay, I want that 30 to be the actual spawn time, so I need to press the first confirmation. That sets it equal to 30. The second confirmation, however, is that I need to tell the program, okay, now I want you to get that ready, and once you get that ready, it's telling the program, okay, this is going to be one of the characters with these variables that are currently set, being 30 and 960. The time limit is universal, so it's just the 30 and the 960. So I press page down for that. Now, I added a confirmation preview, and the reason for that is because if I don't do that, that would mean that you basically just, if you press that like a whole bunch of times, that can cause some issues, and you won't really know how many times you did it. So I added this little confirmation thing that forces it that you have to actually manually say yes in order to do it. You say yes, it primes it. Correct. Finally, good. Then after that, I type in 60 for the spawn timer, whatever it is. I could set the X location. Let's set it to 200. Then I press page down again. Are you sure? Yes. Perfect. Now what that does is that it tells the program that there's the first confirmation just to get it that it understands that that thing was for one line. The second one was to tell it, okay, prime it so that way this is one character. Now the third one is a confirmation to tell it that the preview should actually start. Press enter. And as you can see, that works. So that's why I have it set up like that. Now, I basically, in order to get that done, how a DS list works is that, imagine like a grocery list. So, like, you write eggs, milk, butter, whatever you want on it. But you add it in a certain order. And every time you add to that list, you write one more on the bottom. So, if I write eggs, milk, butter, you can see it's one after the other. Now, as soon as I pressed page down, that set this as the first, this is the second, this is the third. But in terms of computer talk, this is 0, 1, and 2. So just even though like you would maybe associate it as 1, 2, and 3, in terms of how the computer recognizes it, this is position 0, position 1, and position 2. Now, what that means is that means I can save a whole bunch of variables and a whole bunch of values where I need it. 1 second, I got another. Okay, I could deal with that later. That means I can save a whole bunch of values. What that means is I can tell it and save it for later on. Okay, you know something. I want X character at X time at X location. And then I want Y character at Y time at Y location, by just using 3 DS lists. And because all 3 of them, this would be X, X, and X, and then let's say bread, water, and apples, and then this would be Y, Y, and Y. And the entire point right over here is that you can see I pressed this one. I pressed the page down. It saved all this together. I press page down. It saves all this together. So then when it goes through the actual code, what it's going to do is that it's going to read all of this together, and it's going to read all of this together. And because it reads all of those together, I could have it function as one while being able to call any number of them. The issue then comes in the fact that it is in that order, and the fact that the user is able to select any specific point that they want the characters to appear, but it's not necessarily in order. What that means is that the user can choose that this happens after this. That let's say this happens 2 seconds in and this happens 1 second in, but the way the program is and the way that I can design the program at my skill level is that it has to read this first. But because it's reading this first but this comes after, that might cause some problems. How I could get around that is that I can force it to order it into a certain way on the back end. And I have a somewhat of a kind of idea how I can do that, but not really. I have to figure it out. That's not going to be the easiest thing in the world, but I probably can figure it out eventually. Anyways, I'm exhausted. I think I'm going to end the live stream there. I've been coding for around 2 hours now, and I'm mentally drained. I'm probably going to do some more coding later on, but in terms of the live stream, I'm done for tonight at least. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. For anyone that watched it all the way to the end, I hope you guys had fun or learned something or whatever. Make sure to like, favorite, and subscribe, and if you did learn anything, yeah. Logging is displaying one line of code in the output. you should probably do some logging for those procedures in that case. I'm not sure which procedures you're referring to in that case, because you said that earlier in the thing, but whatever. The way I'm figuring things out is totally fine though. But yeah, thanks for the suggestion. Anyways, I think I'm gonna end the live stream there. Make sure to like, favorite, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.